So, hello, Piotr.
Hello, Ivan. How are you doing?
Very nice weekend. No work, no nothing, no distractions. So just relaxing.
Perfect.
You?
Me as well. No distraction. Just relax, reading. Staying mostly inside.
What were you reading?
Sorry.
What are you reading? That's something that interests me because you read good books.
Less. Do you know that?
No.
It's very entertaining. I thought it's gonna be rubbish, but actually it turns out to be very good. It's actually about me. I like the books which are about me. This is very much about me. This is the middle of the age crisis.
Why is that? Oh, okay. You're explaining it now. Because my next question is, why is it about you? So.
No, I'm joking. It's about a writer who is trying to escape all his emotional problems. And he actually, because usually all the books are about how you can't escape those problems. But this book is actually about how you can accidentally do it just by moving from place to place. So he's traveling, he's going, at the moment when I'm in the middle of this book, and he's in Berlin now. And it's very funny, but not trying to be funny. Mm-hmm. So this is the best way to write a book, in my opinion.
It's what I say. I call it the natural humor, because
exactly,
it comes out of it.
This is absolutely lovely to read. I didn't expect it's gonna be that good book because it actually won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 2018. And I'm not that excited about Pulitzer Prize winners usually. These books tend to be kind of...
Let's say lately.
yes. Before it was
lately.
Not better. But 2018, it was a very good year for Pulitzer. So congrats to you.
So now our viewers and readers of Vogue not only get the fashion reviews, but they also get tips for good books. So you all know,
because we are highbrow. You can't do fashion without proper background. But let's go straight to fashion, right?
Ready to do so.
Yeah.
Will you ask me what I'm wearing today, by the way?
Sure, I'm very curious. Please tell me.
I love to say it, because I love to say it. And it's always better if you ask me,
So I'm asking you, I'm begging you, tell me what you're wearing. I see glasses are Chanel. The frames are definitely Chanel.
Yes, glasses are Chanel because I used to be a big fan of Chanel. And I still am a big fan of old Chanel. Mm-hmm. If people say, why do you wear it still? It's not good anymore. Well, because I was buying it for almost 20 years and it has its value. So you're not going to throw away pieces, especially when they were done by Karl Lagerfeld. It's something to treasure and to look up onto and to really just have in your closet really forever until it falls apart and wear it over and over again. Mm-hmm. These glasses were still from Karl's collection. And, it's a classic. I mean, Coco's and Karl Chanel is something that generations should really take it as an example of the best clothing and concepts possible out there. I mean, it was genius. So respect to old Chanel and maybe a new Chanel if it's good. We never know. May go back there. And I'm wearing Zoltan Todd again. Here we go.
Nice. I never heard that name before.
What a surprise! What a surprise! And do you know why I wear it? Mm-hmm. Because it's good. Mm-hmm. It's our bestseller. It's his silk tee. I love that it's unisex. It's one size only. You can tuck it into your jeans. You can wear it over as a top over your pants or hot pants or whatever. It's very versatile. Very nicely done.
And I'm wearing but
and I'm wearing something very small.
Let's talk for a while about t-shirt. Is it a plain t-shirt, or does it say the name, or is it just pure?
It's a plain t-shirt. It's a plain t-shirt with absolutely like a mid-sleeve, not really tight. T-shirt is a big topic today, so this is why I'm wearing Zoltan's t-shirt. Mm-hmm. It's our bestseller, and probably this is because it's very, very nicely done, and it's universal, and people love it. They come back for it. And then I'm wearing something from a Czech brand as well. It's little cherries, handmade jewelry by La Antidote. Two very, very nice girls that make this jewelry. Very minimalistic, very nicely done, and a lovely collection. Really, something to build on. They have little earrings that you can build they call it ear stellar. So you can make a whole constellation on your ear, you know. So one, second, third, and it really looks amazing. So it's a novelty in our showroom, and I really love it. So wearing these.
So you look fabulous. I'm not gonna describe what I'm wearing. I'm usually wearing in stuff. I'm just I'm boring t-shirt man. I'm wearing a t-shirt that I really like, made of very nice cotton. So this is also it's just coincidental. I didn't plan it, but we're gonna talk for a while about t-shirts. This is a very interesting and very important topic for today and for forever, actually, in terms of fashion. But shall we start with Farah and Michaela?
Is that the first one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you go ahead, please. You be first today.
Okay, this is gonna be tough for me because, as you probably realize, I've been trying to keep my mouth shut whenever a piece of leather pop up. Was it this accessory, or was it an application on a skirt? I've been trying hard not to mention anything, but this is a bit too much for me because this whole collection is about leather. It's made out of leather, and this leather is genuine. It's new. It's not recycled. It's not upcycled. It's not secondhand. So the thing is, I know Michaela is like a national treasure, and she's like your national sweetheart, and she's probably a very sweet, nice lady. I guess I know she's a top model, but I just can't get away over it because this choice of the material is it's not enough today. Is it? We have the year 2020. It's not enough today to do something that looks good. I think that the clothes we are looking for are coming with the message, and this is the wrong message this collection comes from, because it says the abuse of animals, the cruelty of animals towards animals is okay, because usually we are being told, oh, this is a side product of the food industry, we are eating food anyway, so this is the excuse. But this is just an excuse. It's mostly bullshitting. It's quite the opposite. It's usually the leather comes from the one source, and the food, the meat, is the side product of the leather industry, to be honest, if we talk about quality leather. So I would like the fashion to move forward and turn into cruelty-free movement and cruelty-free industry. And I would like to see Michaela and Farah being, the forefront of this change, the forefront of this movement, not the ones who are clapping their hands at the end when the all others were gonna do it. Because I feel like, this is somewhere where this is the point, this is the direction fashion will go sooner or later. Like, I'm not gonna. Okay. I prefer not to review the collection because from my point of view, it doesn't make sense to say anything good or wrong. I can't say anything good because it's made of leather. So I'm looking for fashion that is gonna be absolutely, totally cruelty-free. We are talking a lot about the climate change. The biggest contribution we can do is to just stop eating and wearing animals and animal products and using animals. So that's actually it. So I probably, it's not the best opening for this edition of our Judge, but what can I do? This is my attitude. I'm not gonna change it.
Okay, absolutely respect your opinion, and this is the topic of the day. This is the topic of last year's, really. For some people that are really human-like and they think out of their boxes, this has been a topic for a decade and more, like intense topic. I mean, for some, it has been since forever, and it will forever remain. Is it human to wear animals? What do we do about this, I don't want to sound hypocritical, but I for sure gave up wearing fur. I don't wear I had really nice fur jackets and coats, and I gave them all away. They're in a storage. I have not been wearing them for some years now. It just was a decision for me. I feel much comfortable that way, but then it will be hypocritical because I still wear leather and I love leather. I mean, I must say it because we need to be honest and open about these things. You know, we cannot pretend we're eco and bio just because we don't wear fur, and then you wear leather jackets or shoes, really, you know. I know a lot of people that protect animals, they fight for animal rights, but they can't give up. They give up fur like I did, but they can't give up the real leather because, let's be honest, most of the designer bags, for example, if it's Chanel or Saint Laurent or the big brands that are really popular and really iconic as well, they use real leather to make these things. So even people that are really aware of this topic, they will probably buy eco leather skirt, really, but they will wear it with a designer bag made of real leather. Okay, it's a way of compromising your fashion preferences, but you can't really sometimes do it all. You can, but you don't want to give it up. Let's just say as it is. With this collection, it's made all of real leather. There's not one segment of it made out of eco leather or faux leather, and this was not the intention at all. Because, and I said this very openly in my Vogue article as well, not this issue, but I think the issue before, we all fight for this humanity and we all say, okay, let's stop this, okay? But then you see fashion show of Nové, Bottega Veneta, Prada, and there's leather looks everywhere. Some total leather looks made out of real leather. Real leather made from animals, okay? So now fashion is hypocritical, and to an extent it will always remain hypocritical because it's partially based on vanity, and vanity has nothing to do with human side or being really humanistic. Let's just say this, you know, it's about being pretty, it's about being, you know, making an impact, it's about having the longest fur, the nicest leather on you. That's how we still think these days. We do. Is it right? Of course it's not right. But this is how fashion still functions, you know, and this must not be overlooked. So regards to this collection, it was made of real leather. And to me, it's something which I like. It's minimalistic, it's pure silhouette. And I must stress this, these girls are not pretending to be anything. They're not pretending to be the best fashion designers around the block. They're not pretending to be too intellectual about it. As you said, one of the founders is the one of real top models. And now let's just specify this because there's models and there's Insta models and there's lots of different types of models these days. Yes, but she was, and she still is, a real top model. She was walking haute couture, you know, 20 years ago. She was walking the biggest brands, Chanel. She was face of Dior. So she really knows, what I'm trying to say here is that she really knows how these clothes work on you when you put them on. So she knows how to make your waist look smaller, how to make your looks look longer. She just knows how a clothing should be presented on you so you are presented in the best way possible. She knows how these clothes behave on you, how they live on you. She knows all of this, and she's putting it into this line, which is absolutely notable there, because really, when you, for example, I also have that leather trench coat that you've seen there, and to me, it's just a second skin coat. When you put it on, you feel like $1 million. It's real. We had many clients who were really surprised about how well it's made, how the leather is really soft, glove-like almost. The cut is flawless. I mean, it's a timeless trench coat. I'm asking myself one question here, okay? And it's also a question to be really fair. Trench coat is something nobody from the new brands invented. You know, it was not invented by Bottega Veneta. It was not invented by Prada. It was not invented by Farah. No one invented the trench coat. The trench coat was there. But I'm asking myself a question. Why should we pay 5,000-6,000 euros for a trench coat from Prada or Bottega if we decide, that's the thing, if you decide to buy a leather trench coat, really nicely done from a top quality leather, why should you spend 6,000 euros instead of 1,500 on the same quality leather coat? This is my point about the collection. The collection is honestly living up to the fact that it's full of timeless pieces, timeless minimalistic silhouettes, not pretending to be anything but sexy, cool, nicely made clothes out of leather. And this is something that some people will have a problem with, but there's always a choice. We can make a choice. You either buy it or you don't buy it. And this is the thing. I personally think that leather is not going anywhere for a few more years, whether we like it or we don't. It's not going anywhere. It's too nice for the fashion industry to give it up. And as I again say, I'm not saying this is right at all. I'm a person that loves animals. I do charities for animals. I saved animals myself personally, strayed animals, animals without a home or injured animals, not just dogs. I mean birds, bats, you name it. But I still have this part of me which is vain, and I'm admitting it before the whole world and before myself. And I love a nice leather coat. Mm-hmm. And this is something many people still love. And this is why this collection to me is nice. This is why I work with it. And this is why I buy stuff from it. So,
well, you know what? If industry is not moving away from the genuine leather, why not using the second-hand leather, upcycle leather, because it's really sustainable. And there is a lot of leather which is not in use, just being thrown away. So instead of killing animals, which are usually kept in a very barbaric conditions, to me, to produce a perfect leather coat or a perfect bag or whatever, and we can name the biggest brands as well. Hermes does it, Louis Vuitton does it, Bottega Veneta, obviously, we all do use genuine leather. So this is.
But my question is, yeah, I know, Piotr, but my question is really, I'm asking myself, really, do we really know? I don't want to insult anyone, but we would really have to go there to see for ourselves.
Well,
of course.
You think that if we just skin the animals and let them go, and the animals?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I myself, I want to put this straight. I absolutely prefer leather that's second waste. So that means that the animal dies or is used for something else, and then the leather is just there, so they make something out of this. This is exactly why I stopped wearing fur, because back a long time ago, for example, an animal, they would find an animal in the woods, right? A fox or something that died naturally, and they would make a collar out of it because they just found it there. This is absolutely something I would be the most happy if it worked this way. But let's just admit the amount of these products. Do you really think it's all sustainable? This is the question. There is such an amount. It's a really large volumes of these products. Do you think you can guarantee the humanity of that leather with that amount of product? This is the problem. This is the problem.
I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about the second and third cycle. So if we have already committed the crime...
upcycling.
Okay, upcycling. This is what I'm talking about. So if we already committed crime, killing animals, now it's done. But the second, third, fourth cycle of the leather, this is something that I can totally accept. I'm still walking in some leather shoes. I still have some leather shoes. I'm not going to pretend I'm not doing that just because they're old, right? I'm not buying new leather stuff. That's why I always cheer for Novesta, because Novesta is like 70% already on the right way. We haven't committed yet 100%, but they are changing in the right direction. Nearly 70% of what we produce is vegan. This is absolutely fabulous. So that's what I want to encourage designers to do. I would like to see that we are slowly moving in the right direction. And one more thing you said, you mentioned that the girls are so clever and smart, and they know all the tricks how to work with your silhouette, how to make waist look better, how to change the proportion. Fantastic, but still they're using for the movie slim, slender, great-looking model who is actually looking fabulous. She's immaculate. So it's really hard to convince me that what are these tricks? What are we trying to? What kind of tricks this girl featuring in the movie need? She's perfect. She's tall. She's slim. She's
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I never used the word trick. I never used the word trick. I said she knows how the clothes behave, and she knows how they behave on you when you live in them. And it's gonna be something we will talk about more with the T-shirt. But I must say, I love the dynamic today. It's a bit of sparks flying. I love it. I love it. To me, there are pieces that I didn't buy myself because, for example, the leather skirts, the mini leather skirts, they're too short for me, and you really need to be super skinny and really tall to wear them. But for example, the trench coats or the bomber jackets, the ones that come out with a bit of kimonos, aesthetic sleeves, or the leather t-shirts or the hunter jackets, the leather ones, they actually really work on all sizes, and we've seen it happening because there's clients that buy these are from extra small to large, and that says it all. So that's just to explain. There are pieces in the collection which only really a super skinny model can pull off, but majority of the collection is really very universal, and it actually hides the flaws. So this is something to note. And I just want to say one last thing regards to the animal topic. I absolutely cheer for people like you to have the courage to be very strict about this, to have really be ready to give it up. I myself am on the path there. I'm just not there yet. And I really hope that this topic will be, PETA is doing this since forever. Really, PETA was doing it the right way. Sometimes when I saw the videos, it actually made me to go the next extra little step further towards giving up all these things. But as I say, I don't think fashion is there yet. And let's be real about this, Yes, one thing is pushing the subject, but another, but I'm talking about the status quo. The status quo is majority of the collection. Leather, the hits.
Using excuses, you always think, okay, this is the status quo.
No, it's not an excuse. I'm saying that the topic is out there, but many fashion brands ignore it because last season, let's just admit this, Piotra, and you know this very well. Leather was hit, real leather.
Yes.
It was hit. It was in each collection I reviewed was either a total leather look or really, there's a lot of brands that don't do it anymore, but there's a lot of brands that still do it, big brands. And this is something to talk about. Let's go from there, because you need to stop producing it to guide the people not to buy it. You have to say, we are Prada, for example, but we are not doing this anymore. We're not using real leather anymore. And if we do, it's really small quantities, and it's really, really upcycled. Like there's evidence, and we can offer an evidence that it has been upcycled. Unless this is going to be happening, I don't see it changing in the near future. There's big players who still do it on a big scale, and it's something that's not stopping people from buying it. And we just need to not to ignore this. This is the status quo. I'm not defending it in any way. I'm not defending it. Let's just be clear. I am not defending it in any way. I'm just stating what's happening and what's out there.
You're being realistic, and I totally agree. Almost totally agree. There's one thing I would like to say. I don't feel like in this particular case, or any case in fashion, the example has to come from the biggest brands. Because if I'm not setting the right example, they're usually just following the trends. When they realize it's too dangerous to play with, let's say, fur, then they do the big announcement, oh, we're not using furs anymore, we are virgins again. So this is what really pisses me off. and I hate it. I would like to make Czech and Slovak brands all together a force that is saying we are not killing animals. We might reuse, upcycle existing leather, but we are not killing animals. We are not cruel towards animals anymore, because we have realized and we want to send a message to the world. And this could actually work much, much better when, Hermes or Louis Vuitton coming and saying, oh, we're not going to do it anymore. We are saints again. We love you. Cheers, peace, and love, and whatever. Honestly, I think like this time of declaration is already gone. And whatever is happening right now, it proves that fashion brands, usually these huge fashion brands with very big PR departments, are doing so many things wrong. So I feel like this is the right moment for smaller brands, independent brands from not that major players to take over and send the right message. So this is what I'm trying to cheer for.
May I just say one last thing to this topic, because I really love us talking about this, and this is needed as well. This is absolutely needed for the topic to go further, to be open about it, and to say it as it is. If there is no demand, there's no supply, right? If there's no demand, there's no supply. But, and this is a big but I keep saying over and over again, even with the fast fashion, the big trends, who is controlling the supply? Who is controlling the supply? You say on one hand, we need to start. It's not just them telling we're fed up with this. Why should we follow the big brands? We should start. If there's no supply, the demand will also go away. Sure. So I have spent hours and days on this topic. Not just the leather and use of animals in fashion, but really the fast fashion, fast trends. And I came to the conclusion, yes, there is a big connection of demand and supply, but who controls the supply? And let's all answer ourselves to ourselves, and we will come to where to start.
Well, in the meanwhile, you can always follow Piotra on Instagram. This is a good start to start thinking about this topic. Okay, let's move to something more optimistic, in my opinion, to Marcela Holubce. Marcela Holubce W. I'm going to ask you about this W because I'm really intrigued. Well, this is a very interesting case of a schizophrenic fashion line and fashion designer to me, because I believe there are more than just one Marcela Holubce. Let me start with the first one that I really like, I really appreciate. I'd like to see more of Marcela Holubce like this, the pleats master. The part of the collection is being based on all the pleats, which look like origami. They remind me, do you know the Studio Drift? They play with this light sculptures and electricity. Iris van Harpen is using them for the shows. So what Marcel is doing with pleats is absolutely amazing. He's like acting like a sculptor, and he's creating moving objects. They keep the shape all the time, which is really a challenge for the fashion designer. It's really hard to maintain the same shape when a person is in a move, right? So his clothes look exactly, this part of the collection look exactly as they should all the time, no matter how fast you go, where you go, sitting, standing, always gonna look fabulous. And it's not like this clothes are taking over you, so you have to be stiff and react not natural way. You just do what you normally do, and you always look like a sculpture, which is amazing to me. But then there's the Marcel number 2, who's trying to merge his haute couture approach with the high street. I don't know. A bit of a sports.
There are sportswear elements that you pick on. Absolutely.
Like hoodies, like sweatshirts, like shorts. They are fine on their own, but I don't see like you're supposed to show them all together and try to combine the looks. It doesn't look good to me. It doesn't. It's like I feel like it's like introducing Bolsheviks to Romanovs, right? It's not gonna end well. We know that. So let's keep Bolsheviks on the side and let's keep Romanovs away in the Winter Palace. And there is one more. The problem with the Marcel #1, in my opinion, is he's the most talented, most gifted, but he doesn't have control above all other two. And I mean, the third one is the one using the jewelry, this the silver stars, which looks like, you know, to me they look like peel off from the board by the entrance to the 5-star hotel, and applying them here, there to the different garments. And I don't see the point, because part of his collection is absolutely immaculate. This sculpture-like, these architectural pieces, they're absolutely fabulous on their own. They don't need any extra gadgets. You don't need to apply anything. You just do your job and leave it like it. So I feel like Marcel needs to discuss whatever happening inside his head and just get rid of these two other Marcels who are trying to take over or trying to incorporate different ideas from the different fields, which doesn't need to be incorporated, doesn't need to be present in his collection. And I'm really curious, what does this W stand for at the end of the Marcela Holubce W? What's that? Is it a women's collection? What does it mean? Do you know why there is Marcela Holubce W?
I actually, to be honest with you, never investigated. I always thought that it's his middle name, like short something, Wolfgang, for example, or I have no idea. But I will check for you. Maybe it is W as women. Maybe you're right. But I would be lying. I really didn't know. I never questioned it. I just took it as it's something of his own.
This is a very smart thing he did. Just, you know, just one single letter at the end of the name when we don't usually expect anything to happen, you know.
Makes you intrigued.
Yes,
makes you intrigued.
Exactly. So I'm really curious for Marcel. I know he's a very experienced designer already. He's been for a while. It's like over 10 years of experiences. You can see it. He's really good. He's really gifted. But again, this is the same case again and again and again. Too many ideas. Trying to accommodate them in the same collection, this is usually a mistake. It doesn't end well. So, but besides Marcel, I'm cheering for him.
Well, to me, I saw the collection live. The setting was amazing. It was really professionally done. I mean, you felt like you're somewhere in Paris, in Valide or somewhere. You know, it was really. If there's a king of how to do the fashion shows in the most professional manner, it's Marcel Holubce, and he knows this very well. As you say, there's strong sides to his creations or his career, and there's weaker sides. But this happens to all the designers and all the brands. They have their pluses and their minuses. To me, the fragmentation of the collection, as you said, that there's elements of haute couture, and then there's also these elements of streetwear. It was because it was, I'm not sure if you noticed, but the name of the collection was Triumph. Triumph. And so for me, this was like he tried to say, okay, this is my work, but this is something I had been doing for 20 years, okay? Not sure if it's exactly, but plus minus it is. So it was like a kaleidoscope of what he can do the best, right? It's the pleats. His plissé is famous. I mean, he's the king of plissé. That's what we call him over here. He can work it on pants, on dresses, on tops, on trousers, and exactly what you say. He makes it so geniusly that when you move, the plissé stays. It keeps the shape and the nobility of it, really. He can do also nice leather elements like the biker jackets, the motorbike jackets. He can do.
Did you realize I didn't mention the leather? Did you realize how kind I am? I didn't even mention the leather.
Yes, you are. But I'm not afraid of you mentioning anything, because, as I say, I'm really happy that you speak of these things openly, and I'm a big fan of truth and being open about anything. So this does not faze me at all, and I strongly suggest you to stay as you are, and for everyone to really be honest about stuff that really burns our society, because that's the status quo as well. But back to Marcel, he can do nice, elegant clothes, but he can also dip a bit into streetwear. So I think that what he tried to say is, I'm showing you all I can do. I can do all of this. And this is why it maybe was a bit chaotic to you, and you didn't know. Maybe if you saw 5 of his previous shows and you saw this one, you would say, okay, this is probably a milestone in his career, and he feels like he wants to just do kind of like a retrospect. That's the right word. He wanted to show a retrospect of what he's been doing and what he can do well. And I attest to the fact that he can do all these things well. Now, to me, Marcel, he had the stages in his career. He had a stage where I always used to laugh at him and say, oh, you did the Jean-Paul Gaultier. You know, when he worked for Hermès, Jean-Paul Gaultier had this horse era, I say. So it was tied to riding, and these riding jockey silhouettes, really classical, with the ruffle necks, and really the jackets that are done in this really horse riding manner of 18th, 19th century. But Marcel is known for being a big fan of riding, and he rides himself. He has a horse and he rides himself. He has also a few horses, as far as I know, or his family. So you can actually see that it's not just an inspiration from somewhere, but it's about his passions as well. He's living these passions, and he's transforming them into his clothes. About this collection precisely, I was teasing him with, oh, I see a lot of Albert there, and he knows I'm a huge fan of Albert Elbaz and his Lanvin. I own many pieces of Albert Elbaz's Lanvin. I think it was one of the best designers that ever steered that French maison. And so the colorways of the light turquoise and the lilac, and the cuts also with the flowing blouses, which you can imagine somewhere in Portofino by the pool back in 70s, 80s. So I was teasing him, oh, and now I see Albert there. But, and it may be the case, you know, but there's a continuity of work. He's been doing a good work for ages. He's one of the biggest names, as you said. He has a very loyal clientele. Some people say he's not moving anywhere. This may be true, but I ask myself, do we need to move somewhere all the time? Like, if you do something nicely and correctly, like he's doing the pleats, does he really need to fit in right now? My answer is, it's not necessary. It may not be the case. So let him do what he can do best. Let him do his mistakes and his triumphs. But he is a name on the scene for sure. He's also known for flawless tailoring as well. Very nicely made clothes professionally. You really feel like you're wearing a big brand. Someone who has a big expertise in tailoring and putting the clothes nicely together. And, you know, this is why sometimes I close my eye left and I close my right. And sometimes I close both of my eyes for a second and forgive these little missteps and mishaps that they have, because they're also just humans. But you know, when I look back at what he's been doing for ages, he's good at it, and let him do what he knows how to do the best. And for me, it was really a show of professionality, of years and years of good work. And as I say, it does not bother me or faze me. I may have my little, I may have my little questions and exclamation marks about it, but it's between me and Marcel. And sometimes it's like, you heard me, I said it out there as well. But overall, it's one of the biggest names, and he deserves it. He really does.
Interesting. What you've mentioned a very interesting topic. How to stick to something but not get stuck. So we have Issey Miyake, for example, and his plates. So he's stick to the very good idea that he had at a very early stage of his career, and he's doing something new still with this limitation that he decided to stick to. Right, this is his secondary line, and he's really doing something people still love and buy. And we have like Eddie Stiman, who is doing all the same time under different names. Celine, Yves Saint Laurent is
that's something. Yeah, but that's something I absolutely hate about Eddie, and I said this so many times. The only thing he can do is Eddie himself. Exactly. Okay, so he knows he's bringing his stuff. I visited Celine 2 days ago. I was on a business trip finally after all these months. And I visited a Celine boutique because sometimes I get a few things here and there when I'm really impressed, but it's less and less lately. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I saw the Saint Laurent Perfecto jacket there under the name of Celine. And as the fashion connoisseurs know, that the Perfecto jacket by Saint Laurent is something that has been around for ages and is so typical for Saint Laurent. And under Eddie, they were doing it in a bit different way. They upgraded it. They did it in many different colors, but it was still the old Perfecto jacket. And now it's done under Celine. It's almost to the T the same. Something I don't like, because it's different. You know, there are two different things. Let's not confuse this. If Marcel is doing himself for 20 years, is different. He's not doing it under different brands. He's not bringing Marcel to Hanečka or to, I don't know, La Formella or whoever, you know, he's doing Marcel for Marcel. But for example, Eddie is doing Eddie at Saint Laurent, then he's doing Saint Laurent at Celine, you know, and this is something I have a problem with, and I always had a problem with. It's, to me, the best he did was when he did the men's Dior Homme, and that was the best Eddie's era for me. Since then it's going really steep downhill with him, and that's just my personal opinion.
So what we want from Marcel is to stick to his best ideas, but not to get stuck. And I feel like he's gifted enough, he's talented enough, he's skilled enough to move forward and present something that is going to be still in his style, but a bit new. So I'm not worrying about him. So let's go to Ether, which is very etherical, and it's leather again. So it's my favorite topic this week. And this is this is brand by Eva Vontorova. Well, actually, do you get more or than just 4 bags? Because the only thing that I got out of this collection is this 4 bags. It's a very, very modest in terms of numbers as well. It's just genuine leather and chains. I don't feel like there's, you know, see, if it wasn't made out of leather, if the designer was trying to achieve the same with any other fabric, just any, it could be something really interesting. But it's just a leather. We know what leather can be used for. We've seen that. We've seen this round bags with leather belt and a chain belt to play with, or you can switch if you like. So there's nothing really exciting for me, quite opposite, because it's leather. So I'd like to see Eva Vontorova to play a bit more with that. I know that she's tried some time ago to introduce the ready-to-wear line. I don't know what happened. Just she decided to stay with the accessories. That's fine with me, but probably looking for new materials would be a good idea to twist something, to shake something within the brand. That's it. I have nothing more to say.
Well, I think that in this case, the different material would be the choice for them as well. I must agree with you. But for me, it's free because, I will try to say it most peacefully as I can. Mm-hmm. I am a fan of really nicely made bags. Really. I mean, top of the craftsmanship. And to me, if you can't do that, don't do leather, because it's very tricky. Especially with the structured bags. I'm not sure if you know, but I'm talking about this bag they had there that can be like a briefcase. Well, it's structured, it's boxy, and then it has this soft top on the top. So it can be transformed into a shopper. I zoomed on the photos quite well, and I really saw with my naked eye that the stitching, for example, on structured bags is very, very, very hard to do. You really need to have top ateliers and top artisans, because let's educate the public as well. The people that work with leather on a really top level are artisans. That's the term to use for such professionals. And these types of bags need real artisans and need real ateliers with tons of expertise and work to make these bags appealing and flawless. I will say it like this: these bags had a bit of a cheap vibe to me. It was maybe because of the chains. And now again, chains are super tricky on bags. You need to have a very subtle, really quality, top-notch chains attached to certain types of bags, because each bag needs a different type of a chain. You cannot do a big chain on a certain type of bag. It will look off, it will look awkward, it will look disproportionate, and this is exactly what happened to these bags. You know, a roll type of like how do you say that, this round valček, I don't know how to say it in Czech or Slovak, but you probably know which one I'm talking about. Roulis, called, yeah, well, in English and French it's called roulis. I'm not sure if our viewers will understand, but it's this round shape. And there's a big chain, like big eye chain attached to it, just disproportionate, you know. Too much zippers on a bag which already has chains. Then now the zipper is another metal element. Too much going on a bag that's relatively small. Okay, so I was not impressed. I really hope that they will maybe really do it in different materials. Maybe don't go too structured. Maybe start off somewhere else. I'm not familiar with the brand. I've never saw these bags live. The first time I saw them is here, so I don't want to be unjust to the creators and to the authors and to all the people that are behind the brand. But yes, maybe try to use different materials, and maybe if you can do that properly, go to more demanding materials. To me, I'm not a target client for this. It was not my cup of tea, I must say.
Yeah, you really have to be very careful with chains, especially because leather and chains is like S&M combination. We all know.
Absolutely, it's too hard. It's too harsh. You know, there's Hermes is also working with, and Hermes is known for their bags. It's one of the best bags ever produced ever on this planet. And even with the structured bags, it's so much time of artisan to put into it to look flawless and perfect. The chains are proportionate to the bags, and you can tell it's quality chains that are covered, laminated with 24 karat gold sometimes, you know. So it really needs a super quality materials to make these types of bags. If you don't have that, or you can't supply it, don't go there. It's not the way to do.
Another reason not to use leather. Fine. So we have the final participant this week, Zagh, the brand which is dedicated totally to t-shirts. I know it was created by Darina Muchova and Christiana Gyuri. If I say it right, I'm not sure about if I pronounce it right. But anyway, this is the favorite topic of mine. I have already said before, I guess, like many times. T-shirts and white shirt, probably in a jacket, are those garments that proves you right or wrong as a designer. You do it right with the T-shirt, you will have you will have 1 million of followers coming back to you, because T-shirts, underwear, socks are these parts of clothing that we really need to stock on regularly. So once you create the perfect T-shirt, you always have your customers coming back for more and more because they need it. You can't. So far, there's almost impossible to have a T-shirt that's gonna last for years. You wash it after every single use, it's gonna sooner or later look a bit more. It's gonna look weary, so you need to replace it at one point. So, but still, the quality also makes it could make it long-lasting garment. The thing is, what I have here is a very limited selection in every possible term. There's just one fit, which is tight, which is the regular fit. why not something more relaxed, especially for summer? I guess there are just three colors: white, black, and gray. Fantastic, but it really be nice to have something more like out of basics. First of all, navy, which is very fabulous looking, which is playing excellent with the artificial light. This one is missing. It should be in the basic line. And then from time to time, because of summer, because of mood, because of what's going on, you might introduce some more pastels for, like a capsule collection, just for one season, and just to test how the audience, how your potential clients will react. Also, I feel like there is, the thing is, which is missing to me most, are the long sleeves. I guess the founders are pretty young. They do underestimate the power of the long sleeve. The long sleeve lets you adjust the sleeve the way exactly the way you like. So you can make it short if you like. If you feel like you have to cover, or you want to cover, you prefer to cover the whole of your hand, you do it. So the long sleeve is a must. This is what was missing. What I like about the way they present the collection is they didn't use any top model. They just used a regular guy, just normal looking guy with his 24 hours video to prove this is the brand for the regular people like all of us. And I like it. But still, I feel like the need to work, it can't be, I don't feel like you can build the loyal clients based on t-shirts and polos. Just 1 second, okay, sorry.
Spoke out. She spoke out.
I'm sorry, she's upset. I'm sorry about.
Oh, she needed to see me.
Yes.
And you forgot about her, and now she had a.
No, not ever. Don't be cruel. I never forget about her. She's always on my mind. Even if I'm talking about t-shirts from Zagh, what I'm saying, I need more selection. I need more to choose from. I need better selection. I need some more styles. But the starting point is good. They pay a lot of attention to quality, which is very nice. I know the brand, all this garments is made in Czech Republic, apart from jersey is being provided by Austrians, so your neighbors, so neighbors of Czech Republic. Fine, absolutely, it's all proves that, the former empire strikes again. Never mind, it works fine. It's just a very good starting point. I would like to see more. But I believe that they can create the quality products with much more exciting selection for any kind of people, both men and women. And I like this brand. This actually is targeting both men and women because there's nothing more unisex. I don't like this term, but okay, there's nothing more for any type of sexuality than a t-shirt. The proper t-shirt could suit just anyone, no matter the sexuality and sexual preferences. What do you think about that?
Well, with the last things you say, I signed it with my own blood again because we did, well, as you know, that Virvar had its first anniversary, and what we did was we made, we're right now being made, a very ultra limited edition of t-shirts, and each designer or creative could design their own design, okay? And so really ultra limited, so each author has only 10 pieces of the t-shirt, so it has a value, and it has and it really is really super rare. And it was our choice. We were thinking what to do, and we absolutely knew with certainty it's gonna be a t-shirt, because as you say, it's so versatile. You can wear it with a really dressy jacket, formal jacket. You can wear it to gym. You can really, t-shirt is timeless.
Well, when it's a really good quality.
When it's a really good quality t-shirt, yes. And this was also something we were contemplating a lot. We, as we said with knitwear, it's different. There's difference between knitwear and tailored knitwear, and there's a difference between t-shirt and tailored t-shirt. because tailored t-shirt can do wonders. It can really do wonders. What I love about this brand is it's a great idea. It's a great idea. Again, choose one piece that you can do properly, and you'll dedicate a lot of time, effort, and science and everything to developing it perfectly and do it. You know, don't do 10 different things. Maybe really, if you think you can do these basic pieces for your wardrobe, you can do it. You can do them on a really elevated level. It's something I always will be, you know, happy about. Mm-hmm. Another great thing is the great client definition. If you notice, they defined their client really well with that video. First of all, it was showing the garment in real life. So the garment, living garments. So he slept in it, he woke up in it, then he went to work in it, then he went to after work drinks with it, or he came home in it to play with his small child, his little child. So it's showing the garment living as a part of someone's life. And what I loved, absolutely loved, about the idea was they said, you know, when you first get your t-shirt, and it's exactly how I do it, I must admit. When you first get the t-shirt, it's you use it to almost even formal occasions, and then when you use it more and more, you push it one level down to going out in it, and then you go to gym in it, and then you sleep in it, you know. So the t-shirt itself has its own living cycle, you know. And sometimes it ends up as a washing cloth for your glass, for example, you know, but it has its living span, and it has its living cycle. I absolutely love also their client definition, because they showed someone who is busy, who is obviously successful. For people who didn't see the video, it's a guy who is we can assume he is a co-owner or owner of a very successful company. He drives a nice car. He lives in a nice flat, a nice location, in a really nicely designed flat. So the client definition is also there, and this is very important for all the designers that are out there and listening. You need to know who your client is. This is the first thing you start with who you are and with who you want your client to be. And this is how you make the clothes. You make the clothes about your personality and your client's personality. And you need to have this really precisely defined. This is what they did. They have a good definition of who they are and who their client is. I have a bit of a problem with the brand name. For such a clean concept and for such a clean idea, and really nicely executed as well. For me, the name is a bit more not ringing, not, you know, it's hard to remember. Maybe if it was something more straightforward or something that can relate to something, like a play of words, it would be better, but it's just my personal sentiment. It's nothing to be really worried about, but the name was a bit confusing to me. Maybe they will, as you say, they will like develop this idea a bit more, like doing the t-shirts longer, doing more of the polo t-shirts. Maybe they will straight into shirts, formal shirts. But the idea to me is very, very, very much up to date, and it's something I love. It's exactly what I said. A great tailored t-shirt is something that will stay with you for ages until it falls apart, and you'll use it in 100 different ways, literally 100 different ways. So also the t-shirts look really nicely done. It's hard to see unless you put it on, because just to explain, if you do a t-shirt and you want it to fit nicely, it cannot be just the tubus without any cut. It needs to be cut in more than 2 or 3 places. So not only sides, but sometimes even back. Helmut Lang is doing a lot of really nice, basic, lovely tailored t-shirts, for example, or Gilles Sander. And the trick is to make the cut on the t-shirt. So sometimes even the breasts with women t-shirts, backs with men and women t-shirts, and then it fits flawlessly. It's little tricks that you can do with the t-shirt from the tailoring point of view to make it fit beautifully. And so it seems to me like these ladies really mean business, and they are willing to play a lot with the detail here and make a really nice quality t-shirt that will last for ages. So with this brand, I was excited about this. I like it. I must say I like it. I like the philosophy. I like the product itself, and I like the way they go about it. Mm-hmm. So having a very specific client in mind, and you know, there's no questions about it. Mm-hmm. What you see is what you get.
And one more thing that I really like about this brand, because usually the t-shirt brands, they are tempted to put the brand's name on it. So it's usually say the name, right? So it's, even the designers' t-shirts are usually screaming the name. Even, unfortunately, Helmut Lang t-shirts right now, because Helmut is gone for a long, long time. So the brand is being taken over by somebody else. We're still trying to play according to Helmut Lang rules, but we couldn't hesitate to you know, the temptation to put.
Don't even tell me. I still managed to buy a lot of his t-shirts without the logo. There's no logo, not even a trace of it anywhere. Mm-hmm. And so this really makes me upset what you had just said. It's very sad.
That's exactly what people are looking for. A plain, nice t-shirt, which is versatile, which looks good. The only thing we need, or the one more thing, I couldn't, because, you know, I didn't have a chance to touch it. But I'm just wondering if this jersey or the cotton they are using, are there differences? How are they light or are they thick? Or are there different type of cotton being used for different type of t-shirts or seasons? This is what I'm curious about. I did check their website. There's not enough information. Mm-hmm. You need to be, when you are focused on a single product and it's a t-shirt, make sure that you're giving in exactly as much information as you can about the product. So not just the jersey comes from Austria, which is fine, but mm-hmm. Is it a thick or is it a thin or is it light or is it a heavy, rustic?
Very important with t-shirts to know whether it's stretchy or is not. Exactly. For me, anyhow. Exactly. Because I have an experience that the t-shirts that are a bit stretchy, mm-hmm. They have stretch in them. It's usually the cotton jersey that has a bit of stretch in it. They're not as they're not flaunting, you know, like they're the really 100% cotton nicely done t-shirts without any stretch is something I personally am looking for. So yes, I must agree with you, we need as much as info as possible, especially with these types of products that are mainly about the composition, and that the composition is something that creates the cut and fit later on. So you need to know how it's going to fit. Is it going to be stiff, or is it going to hug my body, or is it going to hug my body in all the wrong places? You know, this is something we ask about when it comes to t-shirts and basics in general. So mm-hmm. Absolutely good note from you. And if the creators will be listening to us, then you should take this Piotr's note to your heart.
I'm not taking credit. And I totally agree with what you said about the brand, because it's really mysterious. I don't know what this Zagh stands for. I don't understand it. But what could actually save the name is just by adding the name of the place. You know, you say Praha or Prague even, but I prefer Praha, because I believe there's a bunch of, Prague is a very popular, it's still gonna be, when the situation is over, it's gonna be a tourist destination. These people are coming also to buy something local. We don't want this tacky stuff you usually get on your way back from holidays. Some of them are looking for something quality, something practical, and the t-shirt is a perfect gift before you leave the place you've been visiting and you want some memories. So Zagh could make a fortune just by selling Zagh Praha t-shirts, just saying that you don't have to say it on the t-shirt, just on the label.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Praha, and
just place it somewhere discreetly. Mm-hmm. Just so it's about brand identity a lot, you know. So we like to say, I hate big logos. I cannot stand them. I probably don't own one thing with a huge logo somewhere in my closet, but it needs to have it somewhere, because let's just face it again. People like to identify with what they wear.
Sure.
This is why they choose this brand over another, because they identify with the philosophy, or they identify with the aesthetics of the house they're buying. So it's important to have it placed somewhere. And the name itself is saying something about you. So exactly as you say, if you say Praha, this means we're not ashamed of where we come from. Actually, we're proud of it, and we're stating it not in this English way, Prague, but we're stating it in our own language, Praha. Something which is very important with local brands. And as I said with the Farah coats, if we are about to change our philosophy into buying local over big brands, now I'm not saying the letter, I'm saying it in general, right? Mm-hmm. The big brands need to be firstly proud of themselves. They can't want to be something that they're not. Let's not try to be always worldly, but let's try to admit where we come from, be proud of it, and the clients will trust it more. Because as I said, with the supply and demand, and I want to say it, if I can close this whole day, this review with one thing, as I said, with the demand and supply, as you said before, let's not wait for the big brands to say something. Let the change come from the people. But the trick with fashion is that these big brands were always taken as authority in fashion, so they dictated or they said which is wrong, which is right, which is nice, which is not, and people would take it as a word of authority. And people sometimes don't know. They need someone to tell them, the street doesn't always know. So if the big brands start with even local, with being proud of their opinions, with sticking to their philosophy, if they're against litter and inhuman behavior towards animals, say it and do it, and the people will follow. Say it and do it, and the people will follow. It's a good example to set. And also with being proud of your local origin, with what you're doing, with your heritage, say it and do it, and the people will follow. It's simple as that.
And we can support this with the two very good examples. First of all, Antwerp, Belgium. Before Antwerp 6, there was not such a thing as a Belgian fashion. They had a very difficult names. They did put their names on the label. And look who they are now. Under Molemester, Dries van Noten, Martin Margiela, were big international brands names. Some of them are unfortunately not working on the brands. Most of them, unfortunately, not working on their original brands. This is the other story. But they created something lasting forever. They created the Belgian fashion. Same thing happened later on in Sweden, starting with the Acne, which was just a jeans brand at the very beginning, and a very confusing name actually when you take it as a British name, right? The Acne is not the best way to promote jeans, but it is such a successful brand right now. So when you do something right, you are dedicated to what you do, and you are absolutely certain this is the best what you can do, and this is the best product ever in entire world, you're gonna win. So it doesn't matter if you are from Prague, or if you are from Warsaw, or if you are from Moscow. You just need to do the best. You just need to take the best out of yourself and deliver it, and you're gonna win.
Absolutely. But it always takes strong personalities. This is something you cannot really dismiss. It's always about strong personalities. There's a lot of people who want to do fashion, but they're too influenced by other things. And to be influenced too much by something, it's a sign of a weaker personality. The strong personalities have no doubts about who they are and what they want to do. And they are uncompromisingly so. So,
we had, this is our 5th or 6th meeting, right?
Sixth.
Mm-hmm. So out of all these designers that we've been already reviewing, there are some that you sense they have charisma, they have personality, they have their own style. We just need to stick who they are. You cannot be confused. So there is a lot of potential out here in both Czech Republic and Slovakia. We just need to, what we also need is the support from Vogue, from powerful brands, media, locals, from the local government and government as well in capitals. But anyway, the best what they have for the starting point, they have their own personality and charisma. The most important, ingredients of the successful career in any field, especially in fashion, which is based on ego, which is based on personality, which is based on something, on uniqueness, which promotes uniqueness as something
absolutely
of outstanding value. So talking about next week,
and I suggest when we close off these reviews, which will be soon, maybe we should do our picks on who are the biggest potentially, biggest potential names, biggest personalities for you and for me from these all things that we've seen. I think it would be fair to do so, and not to speak about the bad, but to speak about the good and the ones that will probably lead the way in the future. So I can't wait for that as well. And again,
you know what for? I can't wait to see Zoltan Tough collection, because out of the 6 meetings, you were wearing Zoltan Tough 3 times. So my expectations are very high. I'd like to see Zoltan Tough collection. Is it coming next week or not? Or 2 weeks time? Do you know?
It should be. It's the last. I think it's the last one. I'm not sure if it's the next big or the week after, but I think it's going to be in the last batch.
Okay. So I'm looking forward for Zoltan Tough as well, for us as well as for.
I've seen the lookbook already. I've seen the lookbook, and it's really amazing. The concept is really funny. It's someone who thinks out of the box, and he thinks the way he thinks, and you'll see. I don't want to say anything, not to give your hopes up or to for you to be biased. So I will not say anything. You will see for yourself. I love the fact that you say what you think. It's very important. And for the viewers to see, this is also authentic. We don't need to agree all the time. This is absolutely natural and normal. And it's healthy as well, to keep the discussion going and to bring out the subjects that need to be talked about.
We've been talking about it for a long, long time since we started, that this is the turning point in the history of everything, including fashion. And at the beginning of our of this project that we started like 6 weeks ago, we've been mentioning that this is the moment then we can actually move forward, or when the situation is over, we can pretend to go back to so-called normal. So if we want to use this opportunity to at least redefine what normal is, then it's lost for don't know how long. For when is such an opportunity coming up next? Maybe next year. I wish it's not happening next year, but let's have a chance to at least discuss it, also for our own comfort, that we have actually mentioned something that we have on our mind for a long, long time, and we didn't have a chance and an opportunity to talk about it. I love to discuss it with you. So it's always, it's like I take you as a sparring partner, and the sparring partner is a must for a master in any field. It could be sport, it could be fashion, it could be anything. So you're my preferred sparring partner.
Thank you so much. And I think it's mutual. Thank you so much. And also thanks for mentioning the problematics of the letter and the letter production, because I don't think I would go there, not because I didn't want to, but it was you started that topic, and it's something we need to really consider and talk about. As I say, I'm not in any way supporting it, I'm not defending it, I'm just stating the status quo, including my own dilemmas and problems I have with it, and they're personal and they're deep. And as I said, last week I was contemplating in this report I did for Virvar about our local and what the problems of our local fashion is or are. But I would probably close off with this general idea for local and international fashion. It's a breaking point. I absolutely agree with you. And in some things we need to go backwards, and in some we need to be visionaries. And we must just define in which things we need to look back, which worked much better in the past, and which things we need to move forward with, like the topic of humanity and use of animals, for example. It's one of them. So we'll see about the next week.
Perfect.
I hope it's going to be at least as interesting as this week. And I want to wish you a lovely Sunday and a lovely Sunday and a whole week, actually, because they'll be listening to it during the week. So a lovely week, lots of health and everything to our readers and viewers. Okay?
Okay, and see you next week then. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Ciao.